Hi everybody, Savat here, and I'm back with another episode of Eve Echoes. In today's video, we're going to be continuing looking at the ships on Fulmination, the test server, and the ship today is the Nightmare. So in my last video, I did a video and I didn't actually show all of the stats of the ship. I missed the power grid and the capacitor. I will try to do better about showing off what all the ship has on it and how everything can work. I did go ahead and leave the answers to those questions in the comments, but I will definitely try to do better about that during the actual video itself. Okay, with that taken care of, let's go ahead and jump into this ship. So, when I was looking at this ship, I found it rather odd, so I didn't really quite know what it wanted me to do with this ship at first. So, as I was building it, I was taking special care to look at the stats and kind of see what I thought it wanted me to do. And I came up with that this probably wants to be more of a kite fit. And the reason being is this ship actually has a lot of power grid issues. It doesn't actually have any type of power grid reduction to the lasers like a lot of other MR ships get, and its capacitor is pretty large, but just not quite big enough to be able to take a shield tank and a firing the lasers effectively. So that kind of put me towards I wanted to do a kite build with this ship. And after flying the Oracle, I'm pretty familiar with the kite build, so I did go ahead and put one together on this ship. So that being said, this might not be exactly how you would decide to fly the ship, but I think it is pretty effective. Alright. So the Nightmare itself is a Sancha's Nation ship. It is a battleship. It is their top tier end ship. Its role bonus, it can actually fit shield modules, the shield field modules on the ship. And it also gets from Advanced Large Laser Operation bonus per level, 10% large laser damage and 7.5% large laser tracking speed. For its Advanced Battleship Command bonus, it gets plus 30% Afterburner Velocity bonus per level and plus 5% shield bonus per level. The ship itself has an overall defense of 97,663, light velocity of 121, a warp speed of 2, power grid output of 13,081. Its capacitors are at 16,589 gigajoules. Cargo hold capacity is 1,330. The ship itself has 2 drone slots, 6 high slots, 3 medium slots, 7 low slots, and 3 of each type of rig. In my 6 high slots, I went ahead and put in the Corpus C-type large beam lasers. There's one for each slot. In the mid slots, I went with a target painter. I have the mirror small field shield module. And I have a large group shield booster. Now, the reason why I have the large group shield booster in here instead of anything else is because whenever you're doing missions, the most damage that you take are usually going to be from larger tier battleships or the assault battle cruisers, the ones that have longer range. Now, having a web or a scram might be an option that you want to go with the ship, just in case anything does get close to you. Your drones can try to take it out. But I found in most cases that I'm in, that doesn't happen, and they don't get close to you. And so if you do the kiting fit right, just pay attention to everything. Nothing should ever really get near you, as long as you're paying real close attention. If something does, then, well, you're pretty much screwed. So that would be one reason not to. In the low slots, you have the Core C-type large afterburner, the Cintus C-type large shield booster. I'm using 3 Centum C-type heat sinks, and 2 Eagle tracking computers. This gives the ship a total range of 75 km optimal, with an accuracy falloff of 26.74, an abysmal tracking speed of 4.64, and an insane activation cost of 61 gigajoules per laser that it fires. Total damage 1,300.10, 87.81 DPS coming from the drones with a 35 km range, for a total offense of 1,387.91. Now, the 8781 should never come into use from the drones. They should basically be hood ornaments. The defense on this ship for shields has 57,497 shield hit points, a total defense of 153,256. EM resistance is 0, thermal resistance 20, kinetic resistance 40, explosive resistance 55. If you get into your shields, you have 35,318 armor hit points, with an EM resistance of 50, a thermal resistance of 35, kinetic of 25, explosive of 19. And lastly, if you do get down to hull, you have 34,773 structural hit points, with a 33% resistance across the board to everything. This ship's capacitor can be active running everything for 7 minutes and 6 seconds. Its total capacitor capacity with maximum stats is 32,349, with a recharge time of 988. Targeting range is 1,000 kilometers. It has a scan resolution of 131, signature radius of 294. It can lock up to 7 units at a time, maximum. Navigation, its warp preparation time is 11.84 seconds, with a warp speed of 2. And this current fit has 3 warp stability, but I would actually remove that, as it's not really going to help you. If you do end up getting warp scrammed, this ship is pretty much done, and most of your scrams are going to have a warp strength of 4. I mean, 3 I guess will help if they put any type of, the disruptors on you, not the scrams. But in a lot of cases, you're going to run into the scrams more often than not. And the capacitor is probably going to help you out a little bit more in those cases anyhow. But I do have it on there because I was using it for some of the close range fits that I have, and I just didn't change it out. Again, for the rig slots, I have that one that you saw, the Warp Core Optimizer 3. I have a Semiconductor Memory Cell 3 times 2. To get more power grid on this ship. We have a Laser Collision Accelerator 3 for a damage bonus. We have a Laser Burst Aerator 3 for activation time adjustment. We also have another Laser Burst Aerator 3 for another activation time adjustment. There is something to be said about putting 2 damage bonuses in and 1 activation time. The less this ship fires, the less capacitor it's going to use. But you will get the optimal DPS by putting the 2 activation times in. Okay. So I do believe that's the full ship. I think I did go over everything. Maximum power grid, 19,621. Don't know if I did go over that, so I just did want to show that. This ship has a lot of cap issues, but let's go ahead and undock it and see what it can do in combat. Unlike the Oracle, this ship is pretty slow to turn, and so readjusting in combat can be something of an issue. So knowing what you're doing ahead of time is very important if you're going to be using a kiting fit on a Nightmare. Also, I thought I picked up a mission. Bear with me. Oops. I want to warp in at range. Just wanted to accept. Okay. So we're going to start at a further range out than what our optimal is. We can move in and out. So the optimal is that 75. It can get up to 100. I believe 101 before it hits that 50% damage marker.
Warp drive active.
Overall, I think the Nightmare can excel in a kiting fit. And the reason being is, unlike other ships that use the kiting for lasers, i.e. the Oracle, it has the advantage of having more of a tank. So any ancillary damage that does come near it at this range is able to actually take care of quite easily. For the mission that I chose today, the reason why I didn't lock up everything first off, let's go ahead and start on that, is because I wanted to see if anything was going to come rushing towards me. just kind of a habit that I've created. I know I can look at the ship's menu, but if anything does come running in, I want to be able to see it and be able to change targets. The lock rate on this ship is pretty abysmal. Also, too, I'm using approach. I could set my approach to 75, which I'll go ahead and do now. That is going to be within my optimal range and make sure that I don't approach any closer. But I do want to make little modifications and movement adjustments as I move in to make sure that this ship is turning the right ways. Okay. Also, one of the things that you want to do is to make sure that you continue moving forward is change your approach target before it dies. We can go ahead and activate Afterburner to get there a little bit quicker. And let's go ahead and take a look at what the DPS is on this ship when we have one of these activated. With one activated, it's sitting at 1,664.37. And let's go ahead and activate them all, because I know someone's going to ask me about that. We're looking at 2,304.20. But yeah, the ship does have quite a bit of power grid issues. So another thing that I might suggest as well is replacing one of the damage mods or maybe even the range mods for a capacitor battery, as that can actually help out tremendously. Alright, we're going to approach the station in this case here, but I'm actually going to approach at a very low rate. Matter of fact, we're even going to stop here. We're going to let this Megathron try to list towards us a little bit. Oh, while we're doing this, one of the things we can look at here is what it looks like with our shield field module on. This makes our defense 56 for EM, thermal is 65, kinetic 74, explosive 80. Pretty good resist for just having that activated. A total defense of 226,433. However, it does make our signature radius insane. Let's see if we can take a look at that. I believe it's under navigation. Was it? Here we go. Yeah, signature radius 1,764. So everything and its brother would be able to hit us. No problem why this is activated. But usually if it's hitting us, it's already hitting us. So that's kind of what it's for. When we have those elite ships and long-range ships that are going to be able to apply their damage to us, we can activate that. Run our shield boosters a little bit. And one of the reasons why I like having the large armor repper, the group armor repper, is because that doesn't use any type of capacitor. So I can have that running and we can continuously have that going. I wasn't paying attention there. That's actually very bad of me. I needed to start moving in the direction of this because this ship takes a very, very, very long time to come up to speed. And if any of these ships actually get on me, well, we're as good as done. Okay. Let's speed up here. And let's blap him. This mission's a little bit more forgiving than others would be. Okay. Now we can actually turn around and approach. Again, our ship died, so we want to make sure that our target's there. Let's actually make sure we're focus firing the right target as well. We'll worry about that Megathron in a little bit. Okay. Yeah, we can go ahead and approach the Megathron. We can have the yeah, I always hate this ship's name. Myrmidon. Myrmidon? I don't know how to say this one. Myrmidon. That guy. I believe it's Myrmidon, though. But we'll take care of that guy relatively easily, is what I was trying to say, and then we'll get to the Megathron. Yeah. So I have all these damage mods. Why am I not activating them all the time? It's a very good question. Oh, another thing that I wanted to mention for this test, I'm not actually doing a tier 10, but this is a tier 10 mission. So all of these ships are tier 10. And let's take a look at the ships here. Yeah. Tier 10. And where are we at the Cosmic Anomaly? We are 76 off? Okay. When doing kiting, it's always very important to realize where exactly you are. You want to try to be as far out as possible from that, because they're usually going to spawn anywhere from on there to 35 km off. So you want to be as far away as possible, because if they do spawn that 35 km off, you could be in real big trouble. So we're actually going to start approaching our station right now. And we're going to turn on this and build up our top speed so we can be moving away. So when the smaller ships do spawn in, it's going to give us plenty of time to react to those and blap them. This ship is very slow to build up speed. I actually don't quite know what I think of it at the moment. So what we're looking at here is this ship is getting up to a total of 980 with the afterburner. I mean, that's pretty good for a battleship with an afterburner, but honestly, I could probably put a micro warp drive on there and build up that speed almost instantly to get out. However, this ship does have a lot of capacitor issues, so putting on that micro warp drive and losing 25% of your maximum cap, that's going to hurt as well. I'm not really sure on that one. Probably somebody who flies a Nightmare knows a little bit better than I will have a better answer for that question. Alright, let's activate that and just get rid of this guy. Okay. So these guys actually spawned on the other side of the map, which is perfectly fine. That's going to give us plenty of time. The fast guy looks like it's going to be the Atrion 2. As you can see, the lock time on this ship is very, very long. Okay. So, since this guy's at 140, even though that Atrion 2... Oh, no, he's not coming in anymore. Okay. We can deal with that. So at 127, he's well outside of our range, without one of our computers activated. He is starting to come into range, but we're going to actually approach him as well. Cool. This ship might have better luck with the close range weaponry, but I really think it's much safer to do things this way. Ah, okay. We can start our approach on the next ship. This next blap should kill it. Perfect. Okay, we can activate damage in that. Alright, we've changed our approach. Now that time we didn't change our approach quite in time, so we did lose quite a bit of speed. But we're actually getting into the point now where we want to actually slow down a little bit. Okay. Activate our next damage mod, keep our damage at that moderate level. Now if you notice, we have our approach set to 75 km and we're at 67 off of the secondary ship that we have targeted. It's okay. I realized that was going to happen. I just wanted to make sure that we're already going to be in range for the Megathron to try to speed things up a little bit. Oops. Get one more shot in on that guy. Alright. Cosmic Anomaly, we're sitting at 75 off of it, and we are... Cool. Let's just go ahead and stop here. We're gonna chill. Just trade shots with this Megathron. Activate the other damage mod. So overall, the Nightmare, I think it has a lot of potential. I'm not 100% sure if I'm using it correctly. I know you can see some pretty disgusting numbers on it if you do set it up for the close range fit, but it's also really hard to keep everything working properly close range. With a lot of the smaller ships and everything, it doesn't have quite a lot of mid slots. So if you do the one web, one target painter, one scram thing, you'll be okay-ish, but you can still get a lot of the smaller ships around you, and they can put a lot of pressure on you. I'm not sure that this ship can take care of it as well as the Balgorn can, for the purposes of PvE now. So I think having the range with the tank is probably a better way to go. This thing is so slow, even with its bonus. Okay. Blap this guy. We are blapping the wrong guy. Okay. There we go. Focus on this guy next. We can turn that off. Okay. So we're safe for this one now. We don't have to worry about any ships getting under us. But all in all, I would say if you do like the range kiting playstyle, this ship can do it quite well for a faction battleship. I do think this one is the best one suited for the range combat out of the Balgorn and the Nightmare, from which I played. Balgorn seems like it is much better at that close range brawling fit. This ship seems like it is more catered for this mid to long range style. It can have an extreme tank on it. It just can't, I don't see it with with the extreme tank, I don't see it as being as effective because it just doesn't have a capacitor to keep up with the amount of energy draw as far as I can see that's needed stay in combat like that. I could be wrong, though. It's something that might actually be worth doing. I know the couple of times that I tried it, I was getting swarmed with the little ships again, and just didn't quite like the feel of it. It didn't feel right to me. Now, that being said, do I think this ship is better than something like the Apocalypse Striker? I think the Apocalypse Striker actually has more mobility than this ship does. It's able to turn a bit faster. And it has that siege mode, which would let it, once it's set up in the siege mode, warp away if you're aligned pretty much instantaneously. So that's a bonus to that ship. However, the Striker would not have the same ability to tank damage that this ship does. So even with a very light tank on this ship, very light tank, it's still going to be way more tanky than any of those ships. Also, remember, this is a tier 10 encounter, so it's not like the normal encounters that I do. This one is definitely a lot tougher. So yeah, even with both of these running, it's not healing very quickly. It's taking a lot of rotations in order to even clean up that little bit of damage that we had listed on there. Oh, I never finished off this guy. Okay. Just get a shot in there real quick. So overall, I do think the Nightmare is a very impressive ship. It's able to do quite a bit of damage from some pretty extreme ranges, which is pretty cool. And all of this is able to be done in the game right now. Correction. Everything on the ship should be available in game. Skill points, stats, and everything like that, they're not necessarily going to be available as of yet, but this is all something that can be accomplished. And it would only get better. Okay, so after looking at the ship, what would I do if I was going to make any more changes to this ship for the actual long range fit here? And honestly, I would probably lower its damage a little bit and put on that capacitor battery to be able to dictate a little bit more. But I mean, for just doing regular stuff, it doesn't seem like that's really needed. So if you could get used to the capacitor battery and just know how you're going to do stuff, I think everything will be fine. Also too, this thing can, like I said, get a pretty beefy tank on it. It has a ton of low slots and the ability to do that. So that is another thing that you could look at doing. I just think that those low slots give this thing a lot of versatility for the purposes of tanking and for the purposes of fighting. I think this ship would be very good if you were using it in a fleet as well, for the purposes of having a strong tank. It can actually lead to the charge, and as long as you have people who are able to assist it and take care of all the smaller ships, it can soak up a ton of damage and just be a real big bully as far as that goes. All in all, that's my take on the Nightmare. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do like my content, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like what you see here, and leave a comment in the comment section below. And also ring the bell if you want to be notified whenever I release any new videos. If you do want to see any ships on the test server and want to go through stuff, well, let me know. I might take a look at them. I am trying to get through all the ships that I do get requests for, but there is quite a few of them. So if I don't get to your ship soon, it's probably on the list and coming. But still, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.